Okay, hi Jaspreet. Let's take a look at this set of essays here. Extended business hours is the topic. Here's what you did. Nations worldwide, shops are kept open for longer hours almost around the week. There is a widespread worry that this will only lead to a myriad of concerns in one's life. However, I believe that this provides a plethora of benefits to the customers, the workforce, and the business itself. Okay, so these two sentences were good. This confused me. Nations worldwide, shops. I don't think that's what you mean. I think you mean shops worldwide are kept open for longer hours. Okay? Or not even are kept open for longer hours, but are extending their business hours. That makes even more sense, okay? Alright, so moving on. You know what? Before I do that, I'm going to do a quick check here, even though I'm pretty sure. Yep, okay. So, 266 words, you're fine. So, let's move on. To begin with, there is ample evidence that extended business hours throughout the week provide employment opportunities to the society. Alright, so get rid of this because we don't start sentences with because ever. Gone are the days when people used to work during the day and sleep at night. Okay, with the advent of globalization, it's become possible for people to access stores, around the clock. For instance, stores like 7-Eleven are open 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, and this gives birth to many employment positions for people of the society. Okay, there's good things happening here, but there's not really a ton of connection between some of these ideas, okay? So, you say that there's employment opportunities, and then you say that we don't work during the day and sleep at night anymore, and then you say that people can access stores around the clock, and then there are employment opportunities. So there's just something happening where it doesn't really seem to be logically connected. That's my concern. Let me see. Let's take a look at the next paragraph and come back to this later. Another pivotal aspect of working long hours in the stores is the convenience offered to the people. Although the owner of the business will have to put some extra effort into making the store available 24/7 to the customers, it would be really useful and convenient for people to access stores at any time and buy the important stuff they want. We don't like the word stuff, really informal. Items would have been a good word here. Moreover, a study done by Harvard in 2018 claims that, outlets which are open throughout the day and night have higher profits than than those which serve customers only during the day. That's an example of cohesion. You use a pronoun like those here to connect it and not use the word outlet again. From the arguments that was given above, I firmly believe that long working hours for stores and shops benefits society as well as the owner. It be predicted that its importance will grow in the future. Okay. Now, check this out. You basically are repeating the same thing twice here. So you tell me about the convenience offered to people, and then you say it will be really useful and convenient for people to access stores and the things they need. Okay? So the only time... Okay, and then here you start talking about higher profits. So it's... what are we talking about? Are we talking about the convenience? Because if we are talking about the convenience, you have to explain why it's convenient, or give me some examples of who it would be convenient for. So maybe you could have said something about people who work shifts. This way they don't have to worry about finding time to purchase the things that they need for their home or for their work. So I felt like here you were repeating yourself, but you weren't really saying much. And then here suddenly you start talking about higher profits, which also doesn't make sense because you never told us that you were going to talk about profits. You told us you were going to talk about convenience. So there's some strangeness to the way you organized your ideas, okay? So that's what I kind of want you to be careful about. While there are a lot of nice elements to this essay, there are some things that are problematic. like the way you organized your ideas. So I want you to make sure that you absolutely correct these. Okay, so I want to move on to your task 1 now. This looks rather long. Let me do a quick check to see how long this is. Let me see. Yeah, that's what I thought. This is 275 words, so it's really quite a bit. Now, I realize that there's a ton of information in this chart, in this line graph rather. More specifically, there are 36 pieces of information, but you absolutely should not go into detail about all of them. In fact, there are many ways to kind of simplify this and to reduce it. So, let's see what you did. Okay. The line, it's called a line graph. So the line graph elucidates records of rainfall throughout the year in 2018. Careful here. 3 countries are involved in the chart, namely England, Scotland, and Wales. Out of all 3 countries, England received comparatively higher levels of rainfall. On average, get rid of the and, throughout the year, it experienced the least amount of rainfall in the month of June, while for Scotland and Wales, the months with the lowest record of rainfall were February and April, respectively. Okay, I'm not sure if this is an overview or if it's just an introductory detailed paragraph. Not really sure, but it looks like, let's see, the things you mention here are that England had the highest level, and that kind of sounds like an overview. But then you talk about the months that were lowest for each country. So I don't really know how relevant that idea is here to this paragraph. Let's move on. In the beginning of the year 2018, England and Scotland received approximately the same amount of rainfall, around 110 and 120 ml of rainfall, whereas for Wales, I wouldn't even have said of rainfall, because you already said it's rainfall, so just 110 and 120 ml, whereas for Wales it was less than 50. February was the month of least rainfall for Scotland with a record of around 20 ml, and for Wales and England it was 70 and around 115 respectively. Don't forget the respectively here. All 3 countries experienced a variation in rain patterns S till June and reached above 100 in the month of July. Okay, fine. After the month of July, all the countries showed a downfall in levels of rainfall. I'm not really happy with this word downfall. How about showed a drop in levels of rainfall? Wales witnessed an almost constant volume of rain until the month of October, and then there was an upsurge in rainfall in November with a volume of 105, and after that it again, And after that, again, levels dropped down to around 50. England and Scotland got a hike in rain levels in September and October, respectively, with a record of around 125 ml, followed by a downfall and then a slight. Okay, there's too much detail here. There's too much information, and because you got 275 words, it's just very much. So you're going to have to economize and talk about some of the stuff a little less and a little more, with some more grouping. All right, we'll talk about it in a minute. To conclude, the year was full of variations for all 3 countries. However, December was the month of most rainfall for England, while March was for Scotland and July for Wales. That's also not really an overview. It's a little too detailed to be an overview. For me, the best overview would have been this sentence right here. All right, and then you really didn't even need a conclusion. You could have left that whole last paragraph out. So there are a ton of ways to do this. As we already said, there are 36 pieces of data. How could you have done it? Well, like I said, there's a million ways. One thing you could have done is you could have talked about England, because that's pretty easy. You could have said that it started out the year at X in January. It fluctuated considerably for the first few months. It hit its low in May, okay, at whatever that number is, but then continued to fluctuate in the year okay, so continued fluctuating. However, it had 3 peaks, one in July, one in November, and one in December, okay, and also some dips as well, but it did have those peaks, so you could talk about those elements here, and then you're done with England. What you could then do is you could talk about Scotland. You could say, well, you know what, you could have actually talked about Scotland first, because Scotland is the one that began the year actually higher than everyone else. So you could talk about where Scotland began. You could talk about this crazy fluctuation. In fact, you could say that Scotland's rainfall was characterized by volatile fluctuations in the first 4 months of the year, okay, with highs of X and lows of whatever this is, okay. Its rainfall generally was higher between May and, what is this, October, with a low of whatever this number is and highs of whatever this is. Okay, and then you can say again it fluctuated, but that the levels that it fluctuated at were a lot higher. Okay, and then you could just say it ended the year again with some volatility, with another dip in November to 50, and then finishing the year off in December at like just over 100. So that's the way I would like to see some of this grouped. All right, so it's descriptive, but it's not so heavy with the details. Okay, but it does give the reader enough information to go on and to be able to be like, okay, I understand like what kind of data you're looking at here. All right, so that's my feedback on this set of essays. Go ahead and correct them, return them back to us. I hope it helps you to realize how you could potentially lower your word count for task 1, because that's a really important thing to do. All right, go ahead, send us another set of essays, and we'll be waiting. Good luck.